USA, and welcome everyone to the Program Updates for Administrative Volunteer webinar. Before we get started, we just want to make sure that everybody can hear us and that your audio is working. So if you could type in the question log and just let us know that you can hear us, that would be great. Okay, great. It looks like everybody can hear us, so we will get started. I'm going to hand it over to Lisa Sorby, who's going to kick us off for today.
Great. Thanks so much, Caitlin. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our webinar. We are really excited to be connecting with all of you this evening, and certainly a special thank you for taking time out of your weeknight to spend with us. As Caitlin said, my name is Lisa Sorby. I have the privilege of leading the volunteer and service delivery team here at GSUSA. We're going to dive into the content in a minute, but before we do, wanted to take a few minutes for some housekeeping items and context setting up front. So first, if you are new to GoToWebinar technology, that's what we're using here tonight. If you're having trouble with your audio, we suggest that you connect via your computer with a headset. That's the best option, but you can certainly also dial in via the audio with your phone. You'll see the access code on your screen there. The audio lines on your end are going to remain muted to cut down any background noise, but there is a questions log feature there in your right-hand corner, so please take advantage of that. We'll be responding to questions as we go, and we'll also do some Q&A at the end. So that's about the technology today. As a quick note, you've all been invited here tonight because your council identified you as a key administrative volunteer, and you received an email invitation. So thank you again for joining us. We're defining administrative volunteers. They may be called different things at different councils, but you're our target audience for tonight. And we're talking about trusted partners at the council level who serve and support other volunteers. So for example, these are roles such as service unit managers and community leads, service team members, council trainers, event coordinators, troop mentors, folks like that. So our administrative volunteers, again, your support for fellow volunteers, we know is critical to the movement. And so that's why we want to spend some dedicated time with you tonight talking about the new program content that is live out in the field. So this webinar is actually a follow-up to the administrative volunteer webinars that we held back in June. So back by popular demand, wanted to connect with you. Now that the materials are out in the field and folks have had an opportunity to review them and perhaps are starting to use them, wanted to spend some dedicated time going into them in more detail and answer some of your questions. So with that, we're trusting you with some information that we typically share with council teams, but because you are our trusted partners, we want to share it with you as well. And we're trusting your Girl Scout honor to not share screenshots or post to social media sites. We certainly value you as partners and trust your confidence in ensuring that this information stays internal and isn't shared with outside audiences. So we certainly appreciate your discretion and partnership in the information that we're going to share with you today. So, and finally, most importantly, for tonight, we really want to ensure that you are feeling comfortable with the new program content. This is all about supporting you in your role as an administrative volunteer, so you can incorporate this knowledge into your role when you are supporting other volunteers, especially those troop leaders as you move into this next membership year. So that's our context for today. With that, let's look at our next slide. We'll give you an idea of who you're going to hear from today. So this is a view of tonight's presenters. We have folks on the line from both the girl and volunteer teams at GSUSA, and folks are going to introduce themselves as they go. But here's who you're going to hear from here tonight. And with that, let's take a look at our agenda slide and what we're going to run through. So obviously we're hitting welcome introductions right now. Then we'll go through some overall program updates for you and then spend some dedicated time looking at the outdoor program, the new outdoor program content, as well as the new STEM program content. Also want to spend some dedicated time looking at the volunteer toolkit and some details there. And then we're going to do some polls and give you an opportunity to give us some input on some topics. I will spend some time on Q&A and then close out from there. So with that, I'm now going to turn this over to my friend and colleague, Jennifer Albeck, to kick off the first part of our agenda.
Thank you, Lisa, and good evening, everybody. This is Jennifer Allebach. I'm the Vice President for Girl Experience here at GSUSA, and we're happy to be spending the evening with all of you around the country. Lisa and I, as well as our girl and volunteer teams, work closely to ensure that you're going to have the tools you need to support your volunteers this year. Our end goal is, of course, to make sure that girls are getting this content and achieving outcomes. Partnering with you will be our way of working together to achieve results. By partnering with you, girls will achieve the outcomes after they experience our new journeys and badges. We also want to support you in your role as you support your volunteers who are leading girls through their troop meetings. And we know that this year's new content and the delivery system will help us measure adoption. How many volunteers are really using the new content to help these girls achieve outcomes? And finally, we want to hear from you as you evaluate and iterate the content as well as the VTK usage with your volunteers. This is the largest amount of content that has been rolled out to the movement since 2008. That is when the first journeys were rolled out. And this content has been strategically and intentionally designed to provide volunteers with a better experience for girls. We've based this content on our STEM and outdoor strategies that have been previously developed, as well as research, input from girls, volunteers, and councils. That's the information we took to lead us to the task we undertook beginning a year ago in July. We are looking forward to you, our administrative volunteers, to use the demo site to see the content and see how it's set up so that you can support your volunteers better. The STEM content is for K through 5. The older girl content is also in the outdoor pillar as well, K through 5 as well as older girl outdoor content. Next year, we're going to have more exciting older girl content to be developed, rolled out next summer. This is the national program and outcomes. We have aligned and will be aligning all new program development to one of our 4 national program pillars: STEM, outdoor, life skills, and entrepreneurship. And we know by achieving the work, the sessions within the journeys or the steps within the badges, girls will be able to achieve one or more of the 5 outcomes. We are currently working on the STEM and outdoor journey. Life skills and entrepreneurship will follow. Okay. This slide is another view of the new content so that you can see what is in market right now for fiscal year 2018, which is your troop year. It's just a way to look at the content in a different way. I'd like to point out the column all the way to the right is in yellow. That shows what you have access to via the Volunteer Toolkit demo site and what your council can give you access to as well. So our current content, just to go briefly over this, our original journeys are all not only in the stores, but also on the Volunteer Toolkit. And you know them, It's Your World, Change It, It's Your Planet, Love It, and It's Your Story, Tell It. The original journeys are not going away. They will remain. We also have badges. The badges that are in the Girls Guide to Girl Scouting, they remain. They're also on the Volunteer Toolkit and in shops. They are not going away, and in addition to them, we have lots of new badges for girls to experience. Additionally, and most excitingly for me, I think, is that we have added DAISY badges. We've added civic engagement as well as outdoor badges, and we've also placed the Welcome to the Daisy Garden journey on the Volunteer Toolkit. This will allow a new DAISY leader to choose from all 3 classic original journeys, as well as take advantage of our brand new journeys for the Daisy Scout and so forth. The Girl Scout product availability chart that I'm showing you shows you that the troop camping badge booklets are on download from the Girl Scout online store. Physical badges are going to be available by the end of October for everybody in the Girl Scout online store and council stores, and you can get the printed badge books as well in your council stores. The badge pullout, you'll see at the last bullet, That is the chart for our national proficiency badges and awards by grade level is also available on our website now. I'd like to turn this now over to Liz Williams, who is going to explain the new outdoor content. Liz?
Hi, everybody. This is Liz Williams. I'm the National Outdoor Initiatives Manager, and I'm very excited that you have all joined us this evening. So let's jump right into it. Let's start with daisies. Daisies can now earn badges, as Jennifer said. They have 2 new badges to earn towards their outdoor journey. They will first earn the new Outdoor Art Maker badge, where they will learn about art components found in nature. Then they will earn the new Daisy Buddy Camper badge. The important skills daisies learn in the Buddy Camper badge will help them plan their first camping trip. They will learn about the equipment they need for their camping adventure, how to prepare a snack, and why camp safety and always staying with a buddy is so important. Once those badges are earned, girls will then create, plan, and implement a take action project on an issue that they are concerned about. Once all of the badges have been earned, including the Take Action project, they have completed their outdoor journey. Moving on to Brownies will earn 3 badges in a progressive manner, starting with first aid. Well, they will learn basic first aid skills. Then they'll move on to the hiker badge, where they'll develop their skills knowing what to take on a hike and some hiking techniques. Girls will then earn the cabin camper badge while learning a new knot or two, what gears they will need for their camping trip, and an opportunity to taste some new camp food. During their camping adventure, girls will have the opportunity to observe and discuss environmental issues around them that might concern them, and then they can create and plan and complete a successful take action project of their choosing. As you can see, as we move through the outdoor presentation, Brownies through ambassadors will earn 3 badges before they begin to work on their take action project, all to complete their outdoor journey. So moving on to juniors. Juniors have the opportunity to earn the Animal Habitats badge and how to protect and preserve the spaces where animals live. Skills girls learn while earning the camper badge include how to know what to take camping, fun food to eat on a camping trip, and the perfect place to pitch your tent. All these skills they can use as they earn the 3rd badge, which is the Eco Camper badge, where girls focus on practicing the 7 principles of Leave No Trace and become strong stewards of the land. Girls then earn their Take Action badge by creating a sustainable project that solves a need or an issue that is near to them. And then just to remind everyone that there are also multi-level troop tips available on the VTK for troop leaders, Daisy through ambassadors. Looking at cadets, cadets will learn skills that are more challenging, and their outdoor journey starts with earning their Night Owl badge. Here they will learn to explore nature at night, learning about the stars, meeting with people who work at night, and learning about nocturnal animal habits. The girls will then develop their trailblazing skills while challenging themselves in an outdoor setting. Primitive Camper badge which is the 3rd in that progressive series, will further develop those skills along with a few new ones that they will need to camp successfully in a backcountry setting with few amenities. Girls here will also create, plan, and implement their own Take Action project, all designed to solve an environmental concern in their community that has captured their interest. Some of your volunteers may be saying, what if the girls have already earned this badge? We suggest they take time to review what they learned previously, practice those skills that they had already learned, so that when they go to settle in on their camping trip, and as they earn the Primitive Camper badge, they know and can perform all of those skills perfectly. Checking out the senior badges. Girls earn the Adventurer Badge and the First Aid Badge as they prepare for their Adventure Camper Badge fun. They will have plenty of time to practice and learn more about the outdoors and how to explore those and how to use those skills as they explore outdoor adventure activities, learn and perfect first aid skills, and then they can decide if they want to paddle, climb, or hike their way to adventure in the Adventure Camper Badge. Take action projects for seniors are sustainable and address an environmental concern or issue. They encourage girls to work with their local city, state, or even a national park to find a project that really drives their outdoor passion. And lastly, we have our ambassadors. Ambassadors begin their outdoor journey by completing the Outdoor Art Master Badge, where they will explore outdoor art installations, create their own outdoor art, and share it with others. Girls then spend time investigating how they can become advocates for water conservation and investigating water pollution as they earn their water badge. And then they will finalize their skills and talents as they learn challenging survival skills as they earn their survival camper badge. And then they have the opportunity to practice survival techniques when they're out in the field on their camping trip. The Take Action project that they have planned and implemented will focus on a topic that most concerns an Ambassador Girl Scout and is also sustainable and actionable. Ambassadors review what they've learned about the outdoors and how they might make a difference, and then they'll come up with their Take Action project. So just a reminder that girls have now many journeys to choose from in order to earn their Summit Award. They have the traditional journeys, they have the outdoor journey, and they have STEM journeys. And girls still need to complete 3 journeys in order to complete the Summit Award. So now Suzanne Harper will speak to you about the new STEM content.
Thanks so much, Liz. Yes, this is Suzanne Harper. I'm the Senior Director of National STEM Strategy, and I'm very excited to be able to take you through what our new STEM content is. Here you'll see a video that we will show you at the end if there's time. As you probably know, we developed a new journey format for STEM subjects. We piloted it last fall with more than 1,000 girls and 94 volunteers. We filmed 4 videos with the volunteers who participated in the pilot. So we did want to show you this one at the end if we have time, and we will also be providing the links to all 4 videos in the chat log. So here's what the new STEM journey design looks like. Here are a few things to note. In the original journeys, we had 12 to 15 meetings. Now we have 6. We also, in the original journeys, had many activity options for each meeting. We certainly heard from volunteers who liked having that choice, but a lot of volunteers said it was confusing. They didn't know what activity they should choose in order for the girls to earn the journey. And we also had feedback that there was never enough time in troop meetings to use the meeting plans as written. So we trimmed everything down and tested these designs to make sure they worked. As you can see, we now have 6 meetings. The first 3 meetings include 4 activities: As Girls Arrive, the opening ceremony, the STEM activity, which is about 45 minutes or 30 minutes for daisies, and the closing ceremony. Meetings 4 and 5 are the same, except that instead of a STEM activity, the girls are planning and creating their Take Action project. And then meeting 6 is a celebration and reflection of all that they did. Let's talk through each one of the new STEM journeys that we're doing this fall. First, we're going to look at Think Like a Programmer. This slide shows you the STEM activities that girls will do at each level in those first 3 meetings. You can see them all listed on the slide, and there will be more detail in the notes section of the PowerPoint. I'm going to speak to the Brownie activities briefly. As a reminder, our multi-level journey uses the Brownie journey as a base because Brownie is the bridge between Daisy and Junior. But there are tips in that multi-level version about how to facilitate a multi-level troop and how to adapt the activities as needed. Basically, if you look at what the Brownies do and the multi-level girls do, the first activity they have is paper programming, which is where they learn that algorithms are basically just step-by-step instructions on how to do something. This paper programming is a game-like activity. Girls work in teams in a race against the clock to create an algorithm that will help their teammates reproduce a drawn picture. In the second meeting, girls will do a little refresher as they arrive on that paper programming activity so they remember what it was, but their main STEM activity is going to be creating sun catchers. Now this is a great activity because it's a craft, it's something fun girls can do and take home, but in addition, they're creating these sun catchers using string and beads as a way to learn about patterns and variables that are used in creating algorithms. In the third meeting, we have a great activity called Personal Innovations, where the Brownies will connect their own personal interest to computer science by creating an algorithm, a step-by-step instruction, to teach others something that they know a lot about, such as baking a cake, doing the latest dance, etc. So again, these activities are also used in the multi-level Think Like a Programmer journey with tips and notes to volunteers on how to age up and down to fit the girls' age and experience level. You probably already know this, but we partnered with code.org on all of these activities, and there are a lot of videos online that we direct volunteers to that they can watch before the meeting so that they really feel comfortable in delivering this program. Just another note on all activities that we're talking about, all the meeting plans, there are talking points for the volunteers, and as girls are doing the STEM activities, there are moments during the meeting when they learn about what take action is, and they talk about what projects at Think Like an Engineer. You can see, again, all the activities listed here, the STEM activities that girls will do if they do the Think Like an Engineer journey. Every activity in this journey is a design challenge. That means that girls are given a challenge, such as creating a device to collect water. They use common household objects and their imaginations to invent something to solve that challenge. This time, let's focus on what the juniors are doing. The first challenge juniors are given is to build a paper structure that is strong enough to support a book. In the next meeting, they're asked to create an emergency shelter, again, using common household objects. Their last design challenge is to create a structure that would withstand an earthquake. And you can see in this photo what the girls created. All these are accompanied by meeting aids and talking points. There are diagrams for volunteers to use so that they can explain to girls how to create a structure, what some of the engineering principles are that they need to think about. Okay, our last STEM journey is Think Like a Citizen Scientist. This time we're going to focus on what daisies are doing, but again, you can see all the activities listed there. The first thing daisies learn is that citizen science is a way for ordinary citizens to help scientists with their research. People can do this in very simple ways. They can take photos of the sky to help NASA scientists. They can count the number of squirrels in a local park to help a scientist who's studying something about wildlife. In the first meeting, daisies learned why it's really important for scientists to observe the world closely. They warm up with a game of I Spy, but then they do an animal role play to learn how animals see the world differently than people do. In the second meeting, daisies learn to collect and analyze data. Here's how little daisies can do that. In the meeting aids, we have illustrations of 2 different kinds of butterflies with different patterns on their wings. The volunteers can print those illustrations out and then post them around the room. The girls are asked to collect data. That there are, and they make a note of how many different patterns they see. For a daisy, that's collecting scientific data. Now for this journey, we partnered with SciStarter, an online site that has more than 1,500 projects that are appropriate for children to do citizen science. We worked with them to choose 7 projects that would fit into a troop meeting. Daisies get to choose their project, and then they do it in a third meeting. Again, with all of these journeys, girls finish with a Take Action project. There's a great resource for volunteers on VTK. It's called the Take Action Guide, and we created this in response to a lot of requests that we had from the field, where volunteers said, you know what, my girls want to take action, they love the idea of it, but they're having a hard time getting started. I need a little bit of help explaining what makes a project sustainable. So this Take Action Guide explains what Take Action is, but it also gives lots and lots of examples of projects which volunteers can use to help their girls start thinking of a project that they want to do. So be sure to check that out. Okay, here's another way that we ask for feedback from girls and volunteers. At the end of every program, we have girls and there's one for volunteers. The girls survey helps us measure how well the program is working. If girls are bored or they're not achieving the intended outcomes, that means we have work to do. We want to know that. We want to revise the programs when we learn that. We know that it takes time for volunteers to have the girls sit down and fill out a survey, and that it can be challenging to get a room full of girls to do this. But if the volunteers can, we would greatly appreciate it. It will help us improve the program, which will benefit the movement, and most important, it will benefit girls. We'd also like the volunteers to complete the volunteer survey, which you can find with the click of a button. Please do it. We want to know what you think. Important notes to remember, we've said it before, but the original journeys are not going to go away. We have just added new and exciting program content, have a badge placement chart for everyone to share toolkit.
Thanks so much, Suzanne, and good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here with you tonight presenting, and to echo the comments of my peers, thanks for taking the time out of your day and your evening to spend with us. We're excited to talk to you about all of this STEM and outdoor content. So I'm Kristen Whitaker. My role is the Volunteer Toolkit subject matter expert. And so I want to go over a couple of key points to help you and the troops within your service unit really optimize access to this awesome STEM and outdoor content. So if we can go to the next slide, please. So let's start off with some myth busters. We hear this quite a bit, and so we figured it would be a great idea to just, start out of the gate addressing a common myth that we hear, which is, as a service unit or admin volunteer, I may not have I don't have access to see all of this new awesome program content on the VTK. So it is our pleasure to let you know that that is actually which is very important. And you see the URL there, the link at the very bottom of the screen. You just go to that website and then enter in the password that your council will give you. And then you can see, actually, if we go to the next slide, I think I go into a little bit of what you can see on the VTK demo site. So specifically what's included is all of the new program content that my peers had just gone over, as well as views. You even get more of a view into what a troop leader sees going through the VTK demo site. So you have views for all 7 troop levels, as you can see over there by the image on the right-hand side. So you could log into the VTK demo site and see what a Daisy leader sees, as well as what a junior leader sees, by easily toggling back and forth between those different views. So you can see the outdoor content, you can see the STEM content across all of these different levels. And we even have the PDFs posted for the outdoor journey for cadet, senior, and ambassador troops right now on the VTK. Additionally, on the demo site, you can see parent views. So we know that the Volunteer Toolkit is a troop management and program delivery platform for troop leaders, but parents also have access. So when you log on to the demo site, you can also see what a parent sees, which is essentially a read-only version of what the troop leader is working on for the troop. This is really important because we want you to gain access to the demo site. We want you to feel comfortable with the new program content. so that you can be talking it up to troops at your service unit meetings. So please use the demo site for self-education and awareness around all of the new content, as well as promotion within your service unit, and service unit training needs, which we'll talk about in a couple slides. So we can go on to the next slide, please. So what are volunteers saying about the Volunteer Toolkit, and why is it really important that if you're joining us here tonight, we're asking that you help carry this message forward? So troop leaders who use the Volunteer Toolkit feel less frustrated, more supported, and more likely to recommend Girl Scout volunteering than those who do not. And furthermore, new troop leaders who use the Volunteer Toolkit are 4 times more likely to recommend Girl Scouts to others. So this is really important information, as you know, because the more that we can retain new troop leaders and the more supported and satisfied that they feel, then the more benefits that brings to girls. So it's in all of our best interests to lift this data up and share out the perspective that utilizing the Volunteer Toolkit leads to these outcomes for volunteers, which leads to positive outcomes for girls. So that's why we wanted to share this with you tonight, in the hope that you can share this message within your service unit. Next slide, please. So what are some ideas that you can do? If you're joining us here tonight, then you definitely are engaged and have a key role in helping to carry this message forward, not only about all of this exciting new content and the biggest rollout since 2008, but where things can be accessed and what can you take back to your service unit. Whether you have a role directly in managing communication and making updates to your service unit's Facebook page, or you attend meetings or you help run the meetings, if you're here joining us tonight, you can play a key role in carrying this message forward, and we certainly hope that you do. We know from talking with councils that service unit support is key to so many things with troop leaders and with volunteers, and particularly with Volunteer Toolkit adoption. So your support at a service unit level will lead to higher rates of Volunteer Toolkit adoption, which will lead to supported new leaders, and then therefore more program adoption with girls and with troops. So a couple of ideas to help you do that are there at the top of this slide. We have flyers available for you, and you can actually download them here in your webinar pane today. Over on the right-hand side of your webinar screen, they're available for you to click and download, and you can distribute those at your service unit meetings. It talks all about the benefits of the Volunteer Toolkit to a troop, the aspects of troop management, as well as the program pieces that are available. Invite your council staff to do a VTK presentation at your next service unit meeting. Fall is a great time. Fall is the time when new troop leaders are coming on board, as you know, and they're getting engaged in all things Girl Scouts, as well as returning leaders. This is a great opportunity with all of this new program rollout to get returning leaders engaged and where to find it on the Volunteer Toolkit. And the third idea there is, we know many service units have their own ways to communicate within the service unit. So we have social media graphics available, that image there in the bottom right of your screen. It's also available for you to download today in the webinar pane. So if you just click there and download that, please feel free to share that out in whatever form or fashion, whether it's email, social media. It's just some tools to help you talk up the Volunteer Toolkit, the benefits to troop leaders, and what can be found on the toolkit. Lastly, we know that everyone likes to hear the what's in it for me. So some tips to promote the VTK to troop leaders. Troop leaders have access to download their troop roster very easily from the My Troop tab. They can access journeys and badges, as you've heard here tonight, all of the It's Your World and legacy journeys, as well as the new STEM and outdoor content. They can access resources around the clock, such as volunteer essentials and safety activity checkpoints. Easily record girls' badge, pedal, and award achievements within the meetings, which also then transfers to the downloadable troop roster. We know communication between parents and troop leaders is really key. So with one click, troop leaders can email parents about what the girls are doing at each meeting, which is all pre-populated in the toolkit. And very new as of this spring, troops can manage their troop finances within the Volunteer Toolkit. This is council specific based on whether your council has made this feature live. And then lastly, we know that there's a lot of multi-level troops out there, so please help us spread the message that multi-level troops do have access to the Volunteer Toolkit as well. So all of this information as well is on the flyers. So don't feel the need to take notes, because if you want to download the flyers and share that out with your service units, it is certainly available for you to do that. On the next slide, we're going to talk a little bit about the data that councils are receiving in terms of VTK adoption within their councils. So on a monthly basis, each council, your council, receives what we call a Volunteer Toolkit dashboard. And there is a lot of excitement around getting service units engaged, and some councils really have some great ideas too about awards for service units with the highest VTK adoption amongst the Daisy, Brownie, and Junior troops. So we just wanted to make you aware, because it's kind of a fun piece of information, that your council may be planning something like this. You can certainly ask them about it. And they get a report each month with other data, but also a piece of data that's included is how service units are doing with VTK adoption, and particularly the top 10 service units within their council. So they might be reaching out to you with some kudos and congratulations, and help us understand what you're doing within your service unit, so we can help carry that across the council, just as a heads up. So that piece of information goes to council. And then I think on the last slide, on the next slide, so we've talked a lot about the Volunteer Toolkit. You know that the STEM content, the outdoor content for K through 5 is all on the Volunteer Toolkit, as well as the outdoor journey for cadet, seniors, and ambassadors. And we know the importance of the Volunteer Toolkit based on the data that we shared about what it means to troop leaders being satisfied, less frustrated, and their willingness to recommend in Girl Scouts. However, we do know that not all volunteers have access. For example, individually registered girls who don't participate in a troop currently don't have access to the VTK. So we wanted to make you aware that towards the end of August, all councils did gain access to PDFs of the new program content. The recommendation that for councils is that they can share this as needed, just as I mentioned, for individually registered girls, not in a troop who don't have access to VTK. For admin, service unit volunteers who might be planning program, event, or camp outings or events within the service unit who may need access to this content, or facilitators for a variety of program training needs. Each PDF includes a meeting overview, as well as a materials list, a full activity plan, and meeting aids. So it is at the council's discretion how they share these, but we just wanted to make you aware. So if you would like a copy of these, to please reach out to your council for more information. And with that, those are the end of our slides this evening. So I am going to turn it back over to Caitlin Tyler.